What's up, guys? We are back with the second episode of Road to Pro, and I'm officially calling this one Presnell's putting practice, because what's going to happen today is I've got Andrew Presnell here, and he's going to hopefully teach me, show me, critique me how to be a better putter and what works for him out on the tour. Let's get into it. So basically what's gonna happen today is we've got some spots set up at different distances. We're just gonna putt around a few at each spot, and he's gonna kind of critique me and hopefully make me a better putter today. That's the plan, at least.
I'll share some tips. Yeah, see how it goes.
All right, let's go. All right, we're gonna start with some, what do we say, 15 footers here? Is that what you said? Perfect.
Yep.
Good start, one for one.
Good start, left side.
Yeah, I guess that is a good, we'll start there. What are you aiming at every time you putt?
So with my putt, I've practiced it enough where my miss left and right is very rare. It's more my up and down. And so when I am focusing on a putt, I'm really looking at the center pole and picking a chain link that is right in line with the center pole and just trying to hit that height on my release. Because I know my left and right miss is maybe like 1 out of 10 misses or something like that. And so, yeah, just focusing on that release height and then making sure when I pull it back and come forward that it's all just right in line with that center pole.
So if you want, like when you're putting, which one are you aiming at right now?
So for me, my miss is usually low. And so instead of aiming right in the center, I'm aiming probably 4 or 5 links down from the band.
Okay. I like that. Oh. Too high. Not bad.
Yep. I like the extension hold that you have.
Yeah, and that's one of, I think what do they call it? Alligator arm it? Or like I have like recoil almost, where it's either short or I go and I pull back, and then I feel like it's just.
Yep. Definitely, definitely something that will hinder your percentages, but yeah, just full extension and holding it's gonna help.
Another thing too, I feel like I struggle with is like I feel like I'm short, and not short in the sense that I hit the basket, but short in that I miss left because I'm not getting it there. You know what I mean? And so like, how do I get over like that fear? Because that's what I feel like I don't do that because I don't want to putt airball and miss the basket way deep.
Sure. Something I tell people, beginners or any kind of skill level, is just you got to putt through the chains. And so, like you said, if you're missing short and it's hyzering out left before you even get to the basket, you're probably not left with much of a comebacker. You're probably, 4 or 5 feet away from the basket. So, putting a little extra more power, even if you miss the putt, you shouldn't have too bad of a comebacker. But it's like that saying, if you never get it up, it's never going to go in. So, yeah, you just got to build confidence through practice. You got to just putt through the chains because it's designed to catch the disc.
So let me get 5 more and then we'll move on to a longer distance. I feel like I made myself look really good there, but I don't think it's gonna last.
I was gonna say, what looked really good on those 5 reps were that they all look the exact same. As far as your hand extension, the pace of the putt, they're all dead center except for the last one, but it still went in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good consistency to build on.
All right, so I think we're gonna move to what do we have? 25, 20?
20 feet.
So we moved back to 20, and we're moving around the basket, so we're kind of facing a headwind now. So we'll kind of explain how to adjust for that, and also a longer distance.
Yeah, so with this 20-foot putt now, try to get a little bit more of your lower body into it, pushing yourself towards the target.
That feels weird. Is there a timing thing? Like Like I know, like on the back end, you know, everything's got to be clicking. Is there something with that with the putt, or is that just?
Yeah, I think putting is definitely has some timing things. And so if you're not used to engaging your lower body, it's going to definitely feel different at first, and you might feel like your putt comes out late or early. I definitely know, like, sometimes when I miss putts, it's because I rushed my arm swing and my lower body was behind, and so they just kind of come out straight in the ground. So yeah, you're gonna deal with some timing issues if you're newer to adding the lower body.
I was gonna say, I felt like I didn't even know how to stand up. See, like that time I felt like I just did it because you told me to, not because it was part of the putt.
Okay.
I feel like I was so focused on the leg that time that I wasn't focusing on where my arm was doing.
The biggest thing with putting is that there's no perfect style. It's all about, are they going in the basket? And so, you know, adding the lower body, I would say in general is like a good teaching technique to somebody who like just begins and stuff. But if you've practiced for years and years, not using much of the lower body and you're making more, you know, if they're going in, do what works for you.
I'm gonna try, because I think it is like a good point, because like you see some guys that can like I mean, it's just like a standing putt from like 60 feet. You know? And I already know I do not have that kind of power. Alright, we're gonna try that one again. We should just go until like I'm 5 for 5 or something from all of this. See how long that takes. I did notice on a couple of those that I did make, my legs like didn't move at all. I just forgot to do it. But can you talk about like the headwind? Because I don't think that affected it too much, but like, one, what are you supposed to do, you know, when it is a headwind? And then two, like, at least for you personally, how much wind does it have to be blowing for you to actually like start to like actively think about it?
So with the wind, just the kind of general rule of thumb is that a tailwind is going to sink your putt, headwind is going to lift it, a right to left is going to make it swing a lot more to the left, assuming you're a right-handed putter. And then a left to right wind is going to hold your disc pretty straight. And so yeah, the wind can be, if it's like 10 miles or less, I'm really not thinking about it. It's not going to affect it too much. I think there's a range of like 11 miles an hour to about 20 to 25 where you really have to be thinking, okay, tailwind's gonna drop it, all that stuff. But then once it's over like 25 miles an hour, it's just totally unpredictable.
It's
like
just a guessing game.
You'll throw a putt in a tailwind, you're like, it's gonna sink, and then it'll just rise and go way over the basket. And you know, when it gets that windy, it's just hardly even disc golf at that point.
I'm gonna go 5 more from here and see if we can figure something out. And the sun's starting to come out finally. Oh my gosh, okay. It did go in, but none of that felt good. And we like, but it was like I am right now. I'm so focused like on my leg that one, I don't even feel like it's doing anything, but then I'm not. I'm not focused on the arm.
It kind of looks like you're trying a little bit, but maybe could be a little bit more, but it's gonna mess with your timing and stuff, and it's something you're really gonna have to.
Do you think it like exaggerating it, like even from 20 feet, if I like really like lean into it or whatever, and then it'll slowly fall back, or is that just like bad?
So sometimes when I'm putting poorly, I'm like, am I doing my lower body enough? And so, you know, like my normal lower body kind of looks like that. But then if I think I'm not engaging it enough, I'll definitely over exaggerate it, and I'll kind of like put my heel and kind of towards my waist, or the back of my waist. And then I don't know if it's mental or something, but I definitely notice like they start going in once I exaggerate it a little bit. So, you know.
Yeah, and then also, I guess another thing too that I was thinking about, with the wind, is it one of those things that you should kind of, like one style is better, like push or spin putt? Is that something you should know both, or is it like get good at one or get good at the other?
I think in general, spin putt is probably better in the wind, but the wind is gonna, you know, if you miss, it can carry a lot more in the wind than maybe a push putt.
Yeah.
But I think from what I've seen, push putt is definitely harder in the wind. Just getting those revolutions on the disc spinning with a spin putt is gonna, you know, keep it on that flatter, straighter line in the wind and really fight through it.
Yeah, and then can you explain like the difference between a push putt and a spin putt? Because I honestly...
I'll try. I feel like I don't really do either. I have like a combo of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, like spin putt, I feel like is a lot more like wrist action, getting those revolutions on it.
Yeah.
And then a push putt is a little bit less wrist, and you're kind of like pushing with your whole body. And it's more of like a like an up and down, while the spin putt is more line drive in its flight.
I see. So I'm probably a push putter because I don't even know.
Yeah, you look like a push putter.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of both. I mean, everybody has to have some spin on their disc,
right?
But I mean, you can tell when somebody is a spin putter, they are just like line driving it, and it doesn't leave this height for like 40 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, because I've noticed like, there's guys like Chris Dickerson who, I mean, obviously he's a good enough putter to be out there on the pro tour, but like his is so wobbly when he putts. I'm sure you noticed that. What is like, is that better or worse than someone that's just like out of the hand?
Hard to say if it's better or worse. I mean, Dickerson is one of the best putters, and like I said before, if they're going in, you know, who cares?
Right.
He's made his style work. I feel like I have a kind of unique style. People say that my putt looks weird, but it's what I've found that works for me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, spinning it versus push putting, it's hard to say. It's just probably whatever comes naturally when you first start, and whatever you see good results with.
Sure.
Pick that one.
Yeah. All right. I think those were a couple pretty bad rounds, but we're going to go ahead and move on, and then maybe we'll come back. We are moving on to the 30 footers, or is it Circle's Edge?
Circle's Edge, yep.
We've got like a left-right kind of headwind, so this one could probably go kind of poorly, but we'll see. I'm really just focused on like getting it there.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss short.
All right. That'll be goal for this set.
Yep.
Got it there.
Oh no. I could tell that one, so I feel like that one was kind of nose down.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I didn't release super high anyways, but I felt like it just got pushed as well. So is that like, the headwind's coming, and if it's nose down?
The nose down headwind's gonna sink it real quick.
And that's what I felt happened, but I think it's because I'm also kind of scared to leave it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is putting practice. This is the time to not be scared.
We should have done this in the middle of summer.
This is the time where you figure out stuff, so you don't have to figure it out on the course.
That's right. Oh boy. See,
So
like
that one was the short
miss.
left miss. Yep.
Oh,
so this might be a distance, you know, based on how fast you putt, where you aren't aiming at the center of the basket anymore. You're kind of aiming maybe a little to the right because you're used to seeing your putt hyzer in the last, you know, 5, 6, 7 feet of the flight.
Yeah.
So if you don't putt with a lot of pace on the disc, you might start aiming at the right side of the basket. If you're a spin putter who lasers it, 30 feet's probably not going to be much of a change. It's probably going to be 50, 60 feet where you're aiming a little bit off center.
Okay, so maybe like Like how severe do you think is a right? Like still like somewhere like in these chains or?
Yeah, you're playing just that little gentle hyzer, so you're probably aiming at the right side of the basket.
Okay. So these are the EXO hard. So these are like a stiffer plastic. I've heard like that some pros they change putters in the winter to like a softer plastic. Is that a real thing?
I don't do it. It wouldn't shock me if pros do that. I know a lot of pros don't like playing in the winter in tournaments and stuff. We're usually following the warm weather, but I don't know. That'd be something that it'd be interesting to get some kind of like, I don't know, survey to see if top players actually change their putting plastic based on the temperature. Yeah. I used to putt with premium plastic like back when I was still intermediate advanced, and then I switched to the grippier putting plastic, and I noticed a big difference.
We're gonna try this again. Did I make one? I made one or two?
I think you made one or two.
All right, we're just gonna try to make more than one or two this time. I want to hit metal.
Okay.
If they don't go in, I'll deal with it. I just want to hit metal. Hit chains. All right, great stuff. See, like that one felt nose down.
That one looked nose down, especially because I'm standing at an angle. I can kind of see it through the flight that one was nose down.
So how is that just me releasing early, or is that the way?
So yeah, that could be you releasing early, like you're releasing here, so it's a little bit nose down instead of here where it's flat on the ground. If you feel like you're releasing at the same height as nose down, then you probably got to fix your wrist just a little bit to fix the nose angle. Through the chains.
It's like that. I don't know why I'm doing that now. Oh my god.
That one the wind got. There's a reason that putting is the hardest part of this game.
Yeah. Same thing. Just get it higher. I'm gonna try one at a time. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that one felt the best.
That one, yeah, it looked good. It definitely sank. There it is. Oh. Good height.
Oh, that one came out just like hyzer almost.
It looked a little soft too because it hyzered before the basket. That one looked clean.
So good. There we go. That one felt like my best one.
Yeah.
So when did you like officially turn pro? Like your full-time tour?
2017 in May, after my teaching year concluded in May. I went out and started touring.
Where'd you teach at?
That year I was teaching in Ozark, my hometown, and so yep, the spring semester finished and I just went out and started grinding tournaments. Yep.
That's cool. What was your first one?
The first one I went to was the Majestic.
Where's that?
That's up in like the Twin Cities in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That was really fun. Played Blue Ribbon Pines, which is a course that I'd like watched on YouTube a bunch. Yeah. Played Vision Quest, which was really cool. And then I played a like ski lodge course that I think is probably only open in the, the spring through the fall while there's no snow.
Right.
But yeah, that was my first tournament. I believed I cashed. Yeah, pretty sure I did.
Cool.
So.
That's cool. So like, at what point? What was the point where you're like, I finally made it? You're like, I'm like legitimately good at this game.
Okay, so I remember there being a tournament when I was living near Kansas City, just kind of start playing in the open field, and I got second place in a Kansas City event. Pretty decent sized field. Kansas City has a lot of decent players, yeah. And took second place, lost to my buddy Cooper Arnold, who was a baller at the time. So yeah. Getting second place to him, you know, didn't really feel too bad at all. And I was like, yeah. Dang, second place. I made like $400 or something. I was just like, that was one day's work. And yeah. So I think kind of like that tournament, I was like, I wonder if I could make some like decent money if I really grind and yeah, that's just kind of, that's the tournament where I was like, wow, like, yeah, this is kind of cool. I made $400 yeah. in one day. Like when Discraft picked me up, I definitely feel like that was like a, like I've made it yeah. moment, you know, maybe.
Because that's everyone's like dream as a disc golfer, you know, is to get that sponsorship.
Yeah, and like there's whole different levels of sponsors, like, but hitting a big sponsor, being on the elite team for Discraft, them picking me up and like actually getting a signature disc and getting royalties and them like paying for tournaments and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, that landing a big sponsor I think was huge in advancing my career yeah. to yeah, just progressing while being on Discraft.
We moved it in like 5 feet. We're like 25 or so, and we changed it to a tailwind, so it's a little more favorable for me. All right. All right, that feels good.
Here we go, 1 for 1.
So I like, you know, there's, I'm not going to name names, but there's some guys that take longer than others to putt. Are you one of the faster guys, or are you one of the slower guys, you think?
I feel like I am probably one of the faster guys when it comes to putting. I have a developed routine that I basically stick to no matter what, which I can demonstrate, just kind of go through what I'm thinking.
Sure, yeah, that'd be great actually.
Yeah, so basically when I step up to a putt, if this is my lie, I usually stand about 6 feet behind it, just kind of lining it up, you know, practicing the height for this putt. I'll kind of step up to my mark and just kind of talking myself into making the putt, yeah. making the putt, and then I look at my actual putt, and it looks a little bit shorter than what I was just, you know, back here looking at, and so like, right. I feel like my confidence goes up a little bit. It looks closer, and I have my 2 little pump fakes, people call them, where I'm practicing the height of the release that I want. Yeah. And so I, you know, just 1, 2, and then I putt on my 3rd. And I feel like having that routine, just doing the same repetition over and over and over, yeah, it definitely helps me make more putts.
Sure. And I think that's something I don't have, is like a routine.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously that would help, but like, I kind of just, I'm still one of those like timid putters, I think, that like, the faster I can putt, like the faster I don't have to putt, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
If that makes sense.
The less
you know?
You're thinking about it?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like if I can just get up there and putt, because I feel like, and I've done it before in tournaments, it's like, it might be like a 15-footer for birdie, you know, that someone that I'm chasing or is chasing me has already, or, you know, they're closer, already in, and I'm trying not to get big putt or something. Sure. It's like, I just feel like I stand over it too long, and then I miss a 10-footer short, and I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah. All strokes count the same, and so like that's why I even go through my routine at 12 feet. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah, it's definitely hard not to psych yourself out of yeah. short putts or, you know, situational putts as far as like scoring against an opponent, but you know, just practice and experience.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe on this one I'll try, you know, because I'm not gonna try to just copy like straight up, but you know, I like that thought process of like, if I'm visualizing it from back here, then when I step up to it, you know, I'm 5 feet closer basically yeah. than what I was mentally prepared for. But I do actually kind of like that. The aim small, miss small, yeah, is a very real thing. And right now I feel like I'm aiming at the basket. I'm not aiming, you know, at a specific point, and that's probably why I have so much, you know, left to right error.
Sometimes when I miss a putt, I'm like, was I even aiming at anything, or was I just putting forward?
Yeah.
And I definitely will hone in on the next putt, really aim for that one specific link.
Right. Okay. So I've got. Okay. I'm gonna go one at a time. I'm gonna get my spot picked out here, and just see. I'm gonna see how close I can get to that spot. Okay, well I missed right, but I was aiming a little more right.
Okay.
I'm trying to, like, I think you might be able to see it from there. I'm aiming for like somewhere like right here, because I feel like I missed left anyways. So it's like from that distance, I feel like if I'm compensating for the right and my miss is left, then I should. Does that make sense?
Definitely makes sense.
Everything's coming out nose down still. I don't know why I'm doing that. That's better. I got it up.
Better.
That's something I noticed I haven't been doing either. Is like I've had them all in my hand, so I putt, and I never like step back and like reset.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they're all coming out nose down like that. I've got 5 more putts so far. A lot to work on, a lot to fix a little bit here. So we're gonna see. We're just gonna try to go 5 for 5. Why the heck not? That's what we're doing here. Oh, that one felt good too.
I want to try something.
Sure.
This is something I do with my buddy when he's missing putts. I'll just stand right here. I'll be like, hey, toss me the disc.
All right.
Just like, you're just like, hey, you forgot a disc, and you're just tossing it to somebody.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, toss me the disc.
That one looked like it dropped a little bit. But still. And it's the tailwind too.
Yeah, tailwind is gonna drop them a little.
What? I could have swore that was going in.
I'll go a little further.
yeah, just back up. Oh, finally.
There it is.
Finally, out of the hands, I knew. Okay,
there we go.
Yeah. I still don't think those would have made it to you, but they at least made it to the basket. That's a great way to look at it. I'm just gonna have to pretend you're standing there after every single putt. I know I said 5 more, keep dropping them, but I'm gonna do 5 more now, mentally thinking of Andrew being behind the basket, see if that helps anything. All right, I'll take that.
Better miss than low.
I didn't miss short.
Dead center.
There we go.
Dead center.
All right. Oh no. Yes.
Oh. Even the ones he thinks he misses go in.
There we go.
Much better round.
That's a good one to end on right there. Thank you to Andrew Presnell. I believe he's got 5 tips he wants to share with everyone.
Just 5 general tips about putting that I like to tell people. Tip number 1, when you start a practice session, whether it's before a tournament, you're warming up, or if it's just a general practice session, start short. You want to see your first 10 putts go in, whether that's 8 feet, whether that's 15 feet, depending on your skill level. Just make 10 in a row to start. Tip number 2, something I like to tell people, everybody may not agree with this, but if you are having a bad practice session, just stop and come back the next day or a different day. The last thing you want with a practice session is to feel worse about your putt than when you started. So if you're just miss, getting frustrated, just stop, take a mental break for a day or two, come back and try it again. I feel like putting, you know, you have your hot and cold days.
Yeah.
And so if you're on that cold day, just take a break. Tip number 3 for putting, on a cold day like this, always have hand warmer. I feel like this.
Is that electronic?
Electronic hand warmer. My buddy got it for me. Splits into 2,
dude, that's cool.
Magnetized. Yeah. Keep your hands warm when you putt. At least for me, if my hand gets cold, my game is gone.
Yeah,
absolutely
no, I
gone.
definitely feel that.
Tip number 4, pick a specific spot on the basket that you're aiming at, whether that's close and you're aiming at a specific link in the dead center, or if you're a little bit farther away and have to take your aim point off the center. Just knowing your putt and where you need to aim based on your pace, on your distance of putt, is really gonna help. Tip number 5, this is something that my dad always tells me and something I like to tell people. If you're serious about getting better at putting, you need to putt at least 50 to 100 times a day. You're not gonna get better if you're not out there practicing and you're not out there doing it. So you've probably heard that a million times before on a million different videos, but there's a reason people are saying that. It's because it helps and it works. So get out there, 50 to 100 putts a day if you're really trying to make that jump from a, you know, a whatever putter to a good putter. You gotta get out there and get those reps.
Andrew, thanks for joining. What are a couple things, you just had those tips, what are a couple things that I personally could work on based on what you saw?
So yeah, I'd say maybe a little bit more pace, forward pace on the putt, just getting it to the basket.
And that's just not being scared to miss, you know.
Sure, and a practice session is a perfect spot to work on those things.
Right.
And then also, maybe the consistency, like you struggled with your nose angles a little bit, and sometimes it might have been the early release where it's nose down, sometimes it could have been maybe a little bit different wrist angle.
Yeah.
But definitely having your putter flat coming out of your hand every time is gonna build that consistency.
All right, I learned a lot. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit too. That was Andrew Presnell. This was Presnell's putting practice, Road to Pro episode number 2. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I think we're closing in on 300 almost. The only way we get there is by you guys. So if you like what we're doing, make sure to subscribe to us. You know, be ready for those videos. We're trying to do 1 a week now. Now that it's kind of the off season, we've got a little bit more time to get these videos out. So I promise they're coming. We've got a lot in store. Thanks for watching.